What's up, everybody? Welcome to this week's developer update. Today is going to be January 23rd, 2022. I'm going to mix it up a little bit today. Instead of going through the developer update in kind of a linear fashion and giving a little bit of feedback, I'm going to hop around and dive into what I think is interesting this week. Now, a part of that is the Ergo network has been growing pretty quickly for the last 6 months, and these developer updates are getting heavy. Now, what that may means is I might skip something, and if I do, my apologies for that. It's not really my intent, but it could happen. I would also like to challenge some people in the community to start covering the updates. Start talking about what's interesting to you, what you're passionate about, what potential things can be built, what is being built. I think it would be good for me to start decentralizing myself. I'll still be doing these videos and talking about what I think is interesting, what kind of development is in process, and where the ecosystem appears to be growing to. But I would like to open the floor to anybody out there that is passionate about blockchain and wants to create content for their particular interests and passion. It's good to get multiple voices involved. So those of you out there that are interested in taking me up on this challenge, I'd love to see some videos. So one interesting thing this week was the Ergo emissions soft fork proof of voting tokens that GetBlok came out with. Now I can actually hop to their website. They created an article on January 8th regarding the background of what they're building. And essentially, it looks like they are going to create a smart contract that connects the hash power of miners and creates a voting token on a 1-to-1 ratio of the ERG that miners collect. Now, this is actually a really interesting framework because, well, not only does it advance proof of work governance in a new way, it also creates a really unique opportunity to reuse this framework. One thing that miners could potentially end up with is being rewarded in multiple tokens. Now, why would someone want to do that? Well, one thing that we've been working on for, the past 2 months is a legal opinion in the US where we were in contact with a firm. We were covering different facets of the Howey test and how Ergo fits within that legal framework. And there is some additional benefit to being backed by a network versus being a token that is distributed via sale or airdrop or the other mechanisms that are commonplace for bringing a project to market. Now, if we see this framework rebuilt to where you have a smart contract that distributes token to miners based on some ratio of ERG, whether that's 1-to-1, 10-to-1, whatever, I imagine that can be played with. You have the ability to launch projects in a way that is fair, decentralized, and follows the mechanics of how Ergo is actually launched and distributed. The ERG tokens exist in a smart contract, and they are paid to miners when they hit a block. Well, potentially we have a framework here developing where if I wanted to launch a project on Ergo I could set up a mission via smart contract that pays miner based on the work that they perform. And that's a very unique potential way to not only secure the network by giving miners the ability to unlock multiple rewards for their hash power, but it could potentially give projects building on Ergo platform a little bit extra assurance when it comes to legal aspects. So that is definitely something that is worth watching. You know, just the governance in and of itself actually is a pretty big step forward for proof of work platforms. Generally, governance is somewhat dumbed down. There's not a lot of complexity that's been explored with proof of work governance. So just that in and of itself is a major step. But then if you can rebuild that framework, repurpose it, and use it as a mechanism to launch projects in a fair way, that's a big deal. So I'm really happy to see that and watch this as it progresses. So Captain Nemo and the Nautilus Wallet have been working for a little less than 2 months, I believe, on creating an alternative browser-based wallet for Yoroi. It looks like this week we will see a public beta, which I believe is just going to be a wallet that has signing, sending capabilities. I believe multi-asset transaction, signing, sending. So I'm sure users out there are excited to have some new alternatives coming out. Now, I did hear that there is some work being done on creating an alternative dApp connector. I'm not exactly sure what the ETA is on that in terms of when they feel the public beta launch for the dApp connector will be out, but that's definitely something to watch. We've had some issues this week with Yoroi Nightly. I believe that's in the process of being patched and updated. And it's one of those things where when you submit an update to the Google store, because that's where Yoroi and Nautilus live as browser extensions, it takes, sometimes 24 hours, 48 hours before they actually review the update and publish it. So there are times where, if there's infrastructure issues, they get patched, and then there's kind of a update process involved before the patched version is out. So those of you that are unhappy with Yoroi Nightly, please have a little patience. We should have a patched version that's being pushed and should be published soon. So speaking of wallets, we have MrStahlfelge, who is the mobile wallet developer in the Ergo ecosystem. Looks like he's released a new version for both the Apple and Android iOS that has some new translations. Those of you that are in the community and are willing to put in a little bit of time to assist with translations, that's certainly a nice way to help people around the world that are not familiar with the wallet or user interface in the current languages that are supported. It also looks like he is working on the dApp connector for non-web wallets, which is EIP20. It's called ErgoPay. Basically, that will allow for dApp interaction from mobile devices with various dApps across the network, whether it's the auction house or SigUSD. Hopefully we see that for ErgoDex. That's something that he has started working on, and I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that are really looking forward to seeing that come out and playing with it. So Alex asks, what is GuapSwap? That's the question, isn't it? It looks like AggerGakker, which it's like midnight my time. I think I did okay. Better than I would have in the AMA video. trying to pronounce that. Looks like he's creating a profit swapping contract that allows miners to potentially mine in Erg and then swap to whatever asset perhaps is listed on the DEX. I need to dive into it a little bit, but it looks like he's playing with that as a concept for the hackathon project, which I'm sure some miner investors out there would be pretty interested in, because it could potentially kind of automate a process that saves time, and time is money. All right, so here's a nice update from Luivatra. Due to the successful pre-sale of ErgoPad, he has accepted an offer to go full-time. So the Ergo network now is supporting some employment. I like to see that. Luivatra's been with us for a bit this year. I'm sure many of you are familiar with the tip bots that exist across Telegram, Twitter, Reddit, and Discord. That was Luivatra's magic. So I'm really happy to see the network growing and bringing devs in full time. Looks like he's going to be diving into ErgoScript and wants to become a capable sparring partner with any ErgoScript dev out there. I love it. So congratulations and best of luck to you in your new position. Next we have C8E4D2A. I think I got that right. Looks like he's building an Ergo NFT gallery that allows you to sign in with NFTs via Yoroi extension and create unique galleries based on the NFT assets that you own. I do believe this is something that is installed locally. I haven't played with it yet, but I think it'd be pretty cool too. It says none of the features can be tested in product because Yoroi stopped signing signatures. Hopefully when that is patched, I'll be able to play with it. Next we hear from pragmaxim. He's working on the node, improving the DeliveryTracker, which is a way to see sync in process and troubleshoot nodes that get stuck. That way you can see deliverability in real time. This was something that I know kept Alex up late at night. We had one node that was stuck in a digestion mode, and it was kind of spamming the P2P layer of the network, which basically overpowered some of the node's CPU and storage and just created kind of a network issue for a night. There was no distributed denial of service attack. We just had a rogue node that took a little bit of time to identify and patch, but a patch has been released, and those of you out there that are running a full node that haven't perhaps been online this week, please update. Next we hear from Morphic. He is working on Sigma, the app kit, reviewing some wallet app releases, doing a security audit for the next Ergo Wallet release. He's also reviewing a couple of updates in the network, has been on Discord and discussing some potential future development with the EF. He's working on finishing the blog post about just-in-time costing and is adding some additional review and comments on Node 5.0. Greenhat, which is the leader of Sigma Rust team, which is working on NIPoPoW proof verification. Still in progress. We definitely are doing pretty well in terms of that development path. That's something that I know he's putting a lot of time and thought into, not just building it, but making it that it's easy to maintain over time, which sometimes is really the more elegant part of design, in my opinion. Is it's not just getting something that works, it's getting something that works well and is easily maintainable. So it's a pretty big juggle for his team. I think they're doing pretty well. Apextheory has been a little bit busy, but it does look like he's resolved some issues with the NIPoPoWHeader Interlink multiproof. It looks like he's pushing changes, and we'll wrap up the corresponding P2P update this week. I think that's something that Alex is pretty excited about. Hopefully the NIPoW proofs can be landed in the client version 4.0.22. That's something, if you look at the Ergo network, since its inception, that's been something that Alex has really been wanting to build and pull into Ergo, the NIPoPoW Lite clients, NIPoPoW syncs. So that's getting closer, and I think he's pretty excited about it, just because it's been years in the making. So speaking of Alex, this week he spent a lot of time on node development. We did have a new reference client released, 4.0.21. I know he spent a lot of time working on mempools and nodes and dealing with network issues. He's also been assembling the new reference client, which may just have the NIPoPoW sync support. We'll see. Looks like he's also been testing EIP27 on the DevNet. I know that's something that I'm sure he wanted to spend a little bit more time on this week, but other things took priority. That's okay. We do have some time where we will continue the community discussion, get some additional documentation, testing, make sure that everything is secure. I'm really excited to see GetBlok progress with their proof of work voting mechanism. That's really kind of a big deal. Something, I don't know, the mining space and mining pools, in my opinion, are somewhat stale. It's a stale space. There could be a lot more interesting frameworks built, a lot more tooling, and just service improvements to miners, in my opinion. I think it works really well for, kind of connecting your rig and, just turning over, whatever assets you choose to mine. But I think there's a potential to engage and build really unique DeFi applications in the future. Mining pools are the point of value creation in proof of work. And so naturally, there's room there to become pretty foundational to an ecosystem, especially one that has smart contracts and DeFi potential. And, you have the ability to not only collect assets, but potentially leverage that in a way that creates an additional return that then you return to your miners. The miners stay profitable. I'm excited to see where proof of work goes, because I think that in its current form, I use the word stale. I think it's stale, but we'll see. Also looks like he's reviewed some updates for Sigma and the node, in particularly all of the P2P messages for exchanging the UTXO set snapshots. It looks like the next thing is to work on bootstrapping logic, and I know he's been reviewing contracts for GetBlok and ErgoPad, and knowing Alex, that's something he really enjoys. All right, next we hear from Ilya, Team ErgoDex. They are finalizing liquidity locking features, and testing is a bit complicated due to the DApp connector issue. The transaction assembler has been fixed, and let's see, the UI team is working on liquidity locks and low-level user interface optimizations. That's something a lot of users enjoy. They've done a good job actually improving the stats and user experience overall for ErgoDex. It looks like the team is looking into default option vaults, or excuse me, DeFi option vaults for UTXO. That's a DeFi mechanism for building out additional use cases. We'll see what happens. I guess that is still in R&D, so it's hard to guess where that's going to land. It looks like AggerGakker is still working on the general outline. It's nice to see new developers come on. You know, like say we're feeling like the noobiest of noobs. Well, everybody at one point was the noobiest of noobs, or of noobs. So don't take it too hard. Just enjoy. Next we hear from LowKeyNerd, who is building a trading guard game on Ergo. Nice to see. Yeah, nice update. Looks like they have some general concepts finished. They're working on card abilities, character design, card templates, and board game design. So I'm sure there are a lot of people in the community who would love to participate. Looks like they did add a Discord. So those of you that are interested in learning more, please hop onto the Ergo Discord, the development channel. Find the picture of the, I'm not sure what that is. It looks like a jester with an axe, and you'll get the Discord link above that picture. Next we hear from Dmitry, DeadIT, who is our main explorer and website developer. We are in the process of updating the ergoplatform.org website. I've seen some snapshots and the Figma of what they're putting together, and I have to say I'm impressed. I really like what's being put together. I think it's a lot more engaging. So hopefully when that's out, you'll all get a time to read through it and give us feedback. So it looks like the Explorer has added a couple of new features. The website, we have a couple of translations that have came in. I'm gonna keep saying this every dev update. Those of you in the community that have language skills and are willing to contribute, that's always welcome. That's actually a huge way to support Ergo and the development of what's being built, because it just opens up new users, new markets. Sigmaverse has kind of a new look, new tabs. We have some new projects that have been listed on Sigmaverse. Looks like this is the new Explorer deal, and that's coming together pretty nicely. Nice graphical interface. It's pretty easy to look at and follow. Alright, we're back. CloudScope, who has been building a NodeSpyder network diagnostic and visual tool that allows you to see the number of nodes, the countries, the kind of network itself. Came out with a new update, ergo.nodespider.io. Looks like right now, at this moment, we have 59 active nodes. That number could be a lot higher. I hope that as we get some additional tutorials and documentation for SAT Ergo, we get that node number quite a bit higher than 59. It looks like you can see the versions that everyone is running. And it looks like we have 2 people that are running 3.36. Oof. Or 3.3.6. That's, yeah, you might want to update those nodes. And you get the main network visual. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool website tool that's been put together. Looks like ErgoLend is testing ErgoScript and fixing bugs in their contract. haileypdll. Sorry I'm late. No worries. It looks like he or she added signing from mnemonic to the transaction builder. Still working on a browser extension wallet. Nice to see. We actually have a couple of wallets that are in development that I think offer a pretty good alternative to what exists. You know, that's one part of the Ergo network infrastructure that really could be expanded, decentralized, and hardened. It would make the user experience and the network interactions just simpler for end users. So thank you for contributing towards that, Haley. Looks like the browser will be able to send ergs, tokens, display transactions. We're currently working on unconfirmed transaction and unconfirmed balances. Let's see, what else? Rob has an update from GetBlok. The smart contracts are complete and launched onto the mainnet. That was a pretty big update last week. There's some quick bug fixes to help with issues that were found. Most, if not all, should be good to go. Started a more in-depth collaboration with proof of vote with Anon Real. The distribution of proof of vote tokens is currently working on testnet. I believe at this point that's a little bit further. They did launch some additional documentation, are continuing to work on launching an Indian mining pool. So those of you that are in that part of the world that are interested in mining Ergo, it looks like GetBlok has really built out a nice set of mining nodes all over the place, and it looks like they're continuing to expand. So consider mining with the community pools. Next we hear from Anon Real. Looks like he's been working on voting procedures and has come up with a solution that will work with an arbitrary number of votes without needing to stake tokens. It needs some code running all the time. That creates a unique set of problems that he's working on solving to prevent what he considers centralization. Looks like the auction house development is progressing in the background, but nothing is seen yet. So when we have some updates to see, I'm sure we'll cover that. Alright, I think that pretty much wraps it up. I believe I covered everybody. Thanks for tuning in, everyone.
Have a good one.